Good evening, Dumelang, Dumelang, Dumelang. We are back. We are back with our Inspirational Fridays. And today, like the previous 3 weeks, we are talking about something else which is very important for us and to us. My name is Mpho Mokoena and I am known also as Madam Speaker. I'm a founder of Single Moms with Purpose. And today we are talking to a father. Yeah, someone was asking me, why are you a single moms? Like you are, I thought you're focusing only on women, single moms and whatnot. And my answer was that parenting, it's not a single parenting thing. Both men and women are affected by it. Either you are a man or a woman. Single parenting is here, and we need to talk to everyone who is a parent, everyone who is single parenting. So today we are going to talk to a father. His name is Mpho Mokoena. He's coming all the way from Bloemfontein, Free State. Go higher, so I am excited today. I am excited and looking forward to actually having this conversation with him. It's my first time ever sitting down with a man, talking about parenting and everything that is involved as far as parenting is concerned. And also today we are going to talk to a father who is raising a boy who has a disorder, meaning that who has special needs. So this son of Mpho is 9 years and is diagnosed with a disorder called autism. So, because I don't know what autism is in our African languages, but we are here, we're going to learn. Mpho told me that after his son was diagnosed, he had to read a lot of books about autism so that he can understand the situation better. So a short description. I'm still waiting for him. Hopefully, yeah, here is his request. I'm adding him right now. So probably he'll be live in a minute. So Mpho is father to
Hi. Good day.
We are happy to have you. We are excited.
I'm excited too.
Yes, so I was about to introduce you. I'm just going to give a brief explanation, introduction of who you are, and then we will get to a point where now we are talking to you. So, Mpho is a father to a 9-year-old boy living with autism. The boy was diagnosed at the age of 3, and Mpho was raised by his father because his mom passed away 20 years back. So he's currently co-parenting with the mother of his son. And after he realizes that his son after the son was diagnosed, he read a lot of books that were talking about autism. And here is the thing, Mpho believes that men can do a lot if they are given a chance. So today we are giving him and other men a chance to come to our rescue. I deal with single mothers. So there's a lot of things that we don't understand. There's a lot of things that we don't know as far as parenting and men are concerned. So today we are here. we are going to talk to you, and I believe that you are going to help us a lot concerning men and parenting, and also concerning the disorder, because a lot of people don't know what autism is. As you said in our conversation, that when you read about it, that's when you learned that there's a lot of children that were growing up when you were still young who had the disorder, but nobody knew because we were really not educated as far as it is concerned. So,
Yes.
give us your own explanation, introduction of who is Mpho.
I'm 20. Who's a 20? No, Mpho is a fun guy. I've always loved partying. I'm a social person.
Okay.
And I have a background in hospitality, so I do a lot of cooking.
Okay.
And yes, and yeah, I have a son who's beautiful, and yeah, who's given me a chance to go into a life that I never knew, you know. He's given me
Yeah.
a chance to tap into a life that I never knew existed. Yeah, man, I'm an all-round fun guy, you know, and yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, I did go through your social media page, obvious. Yes.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Lot going on in Bloemfontein.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I saw that most of the time you spend time with your son. There's a lot of pictures of you together, you know. I was like, this is
Yes,
what we are looking for, you know. And someone
yes,
says that we are the people that we have been waiting for. We are the future.
yes,
We are the change that we are looking for. So I saw
yes.
something beautiful, and I really have to give you a high 10 and a standing ovation for, you know, for taking care of your son and being there for him every step of the way. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So,
I think, yeah.
so tell us
No, no,
about
go on.
you growing up as a boy. Were you raised by both your parents, and how was your
Yeah,
relationship with both of them?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I was raised by my parents. I'm an eldest child. I have two little sisters. Um, and I've always been a mama's boy, you know.
Okay.
Up until my mother passed away 20 years ago. So
Okay.
then I think then it forced my father to step up, you know, and
Mm,
become a parent, you know.
mm,
And him and I have been going through that journey for the last 20 years, to being the best of friends, you know.
mm,
My
mm,
father is someone that I look up to. At any given moment, he's always showed up, you know.
yeah.
So he's always been there. He's always been there. He's been a great father, you know. It's something that I think 20 years ago was unheard of, that you'd find a father just raising 3 kids by himself and
Yeah.
with no assistance. You know, he never
Yeah.
remarried, never brought
Okay.
any women into the house, you know.
Wow.
So yeah, man, we have a beautiful relationship, you know. Obviously it took time for us to find each other, as you know, I'm
Mm,
growing and, you know, into
yeah.
being a father myself. So that the one thing that I always knew is that he always had my back. The one thing that I knew is that I could always count on him, you know.
Mm,
I could always go to him at any given moment, you know. And so he's always been there, you know. Even now, you know, if I was to be stuck anywhere, he's the one
you will.
person I'd call. I know he'd wake up at 3 a.m. to get me. That's the one thing I know. So we have a beautiful relationship, and so which has made me want to have the same relationship with my son, because I think that is the only relationship I know. I know how to have a father, and I know a father's love, so it was easier for me to to engage with my son, and have love for him because of what I have with my father. He's still a big part of my life even right now, so he plays an important role in my life. So yeah, so yes, so that's how it's been. And yeah, I have two wonderful little sisters, who are the best aunties, and so they're always there for me too. And they also started reading with me, trying to understand, because obviously this child is growing around them, so everyone just came through and became part of this new world that we joined, so yeah, man, it's been good. Yes.
I love how you are just explaining it. It makes me I wish that a lot of men can understand what you are saying and the importance of a present father. Because as you say that your father being present, it helped you to understand the importance of being there. It helped you to make sure that when you become a father, you don't miss anything about your child or your children. And today,
Yes.
you are just going to give us this beautiful picture of a present father, and I love it. So now you have this beautiful relationship with your dad. There are your sisters here. You are all growing together, and you become a father. What happened?
Yes. So yes, I became a father in 2013 on the
Okay.
19th of August.
Oh, nice.
And my sister had a child a day after mine.
Wow, you have twins actually at home.
Basically, yes. So I was a father in the evening and an uncle in the morning.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so our sons grew up together from the beginning, So yes, I think it's one of the other things that made us realize about the spectrum, because these kids were growing up together. Yes, so obviously the other one was slow in his growth,
Yeah.
So yeah, and also I think I had a child late. Most of my friends had children before me, So I had a child when I was ready to have one, because
Okay.
I'd always said to them, I'll have a child once I'm working and I can afford this child,
Yeah.
So I had medical aid already, so I was ready. So I was ready, and because of the relationships that my friends used to have with their kids or their mother of their children, I took advantage that I want to be better than that situation,
Okay.
So I want to be present, So I wanted to see my son from the first time he crawls, the first time he speaks. So I was there during birth, and I was like, it's the one thing that I need, so that even if when his mother and I don't make it, but at least he always knows that I was always present from the beginning,
Yeah.
and then I
Yeah.
will continue to be, So yeah, and unfortunately, most of the time relationships don't work. So the mother of my child and I did not work, but we didn't end things on a bad note.
Okay,
And
that's
so
nice.
after that, so what we did was we forged a relationship because we knew that we're always going to have something that that's between us. You know, we're always going to have a common, exactly, we're always going to have a common denominator. So so that we needed to forge a relationship. We have the best parent co-parenting relationship. You know, so
Oh,
sometimes even people still think, no man, Luna, you are dating somehow. And I was like, no, another something young. I was like, no, it's about understanding each other because what's important is the child. You know,
nice, yeah.
we have to make sure that this child always knows that both of his parents are there for him. And I think also the fact that that he had a special need made us even become close because we knew that we had to put more into making sure that he's all right. So yeah, and we're good. We're good. My baby mom and we very good. We get along very well. I think yeah, we call each other almost every week. We talk. So yeah, it's a very great co-parenting relationship, which makes things easy. You know, she never does take decisions without me. You know, it's always consultation. So even with her mother, my son's grandmother, every time she always checks with me. Hey, Wana, even if it's a small thing, Wana wakula, saying no, medical aid today, we saying, oh, but it's always there. They've brought me in, so they've never done anything without my knowledge. You know, so and you know my son's grandmother has become my mother, and she's done great. You know, and also she has helped us quite a lot because she's a nurse in the pediatrics, so she understands kids, and I think she's made it easier for us to go through this journey. You know, so yeah, it's everything. Everyone came through, and it's a team effort. You know, and I think well, one comes through. You know, from both families and trying to make sure that this child gets the best that they can get, you know. Yeah, then we become good. So he's in good hands. He's in good hands. I think the only thing now that we need to do is obviously create more awareness about his disorder so that he can get into the life that also will see who he is and accept him, yeah. Yes.
Wow. Wow. You know what, ne? You
Yes.
are inspiring, or you are, what's this word? I don't know the English word, but ka Sesotho se re wa nqhokola. You make me want to have an event in Bloemfontein, Free State, or Tabanchu about co-parenting, and currently
Yeah.
as you are involved there. But we will talk about it. So now, I need you. I have this book, ne?
Yes. Yeah.
Abnormal psychology. So it has a lot of these disorders, and I tried to do my own
Yeah.
research so that I understand autism better. Can you please take us through what it is and how does it affect a person who has it? And with while you are explaining to us, please tell us about your own experience with your son. How did you notice, and everything that surrounds,
Yeah.
so that we can understand how do we see it?
Yeah. In simple terms, autism is a developmental disorder that impairs on communication and interaction, the lack of social skills and behavioral repetition, you know,
Okay.
kids always doing the same thing over and over, in
Okay.
struggling with speech and so
Mm-hmm.
forth. So how we got to know was, like I said, my son and my nephew are the same age,
Mm.
right? So growing up in the same house, we used to see that, man, no man. The other one has started crawling, and this one is still not crawling, up until the other one even started walking, you know?
Okay.
And we're like, ah, man, but this one is not even crawling, and this one
What's
is walking already.
wrong?
What's wrong? And then obviously another, most were looking at things, and you know batho ba baholo ba tla re man bana ba tshwane ba ba
Mm.
ngobane. But I think for us it was like, no man, but he's older than this one, but he's struggling with, and he's not even speaking. He's
Okay.
struggling with his development. And
Okay.
so, but also one thing is that when he was 6 months, he had an ear operation.
Okay.
His ear had his eardrums had burst. So we thought
Sorry.
maybe that could be. So
Everything.
we started taking him to specialists, and we're like, no, he could hear better. We're like, no, but he's not
It's not.
developing like other kids, man. Something is slow here.
Mm.
And then we were referred to a neurologist in Senton.
Okay.
I think we went there twice. And that's when she then diagnosed him with autism,
Okay.
and he was 3 at the time. So then that's when he started showing us what is autism and what. And
Mm.
so we also then started reading. But it was a difficult thing because most people still don't even know what it is, and because
Yeah.
when it comes, exact, and when you are told, you always ask, is there a cure? Can we cure this
Mm.
thing? And they're like, no, there's no cure. Obviously, all you have to do is give your child the
The-
the
the-
tools, equip him with the tools to make sure that he can make it in life,
Mm. Mm.
so that's when obviously we started reading. And like I said, with his grandmother played a very big role because
Yeah. Also
she's a
experience.
nurse,
Mm.
and so she could understand it quickly. She had heard of this thing, but she had never also been, so
Mm.
she started also reading. So everybody in the house started reading,
Wow.
trying to understand,
Mm.
what it is,
Mm. Mm.
Even now, I think we will never fully know what it is, but
Yeah.
every time you learn new things, because sometimes we've learned that he's very routine. He must done everything in routine. If
Okay.
he wakes up in the morning, he must shower, eat while watching TV, then go to work. If one of that is interrupted,
Mm.
automatically his day is ruined. So he's gonna have a bad day.
Wow.
So even if
Wow.
even if he's late, you must still allow him to do the exact same thing. He must still eat in front of the TV, and so
Oh.
it's routine. It's a routine thing.
Wow.
So, and also something that he has short span, like he can do 10,000 things in a very small time. It's a very short span. Like, so I think at the time when we started, that was one of the things that used to um, disturb us, or because you want, sometimes as a parent, you want to play with your child,
Mm. Mm.
and you have a son, and you start playing, you start buying soccer balls, maybe you want to kick him, so they don't, because he's socially awkward, so he
Okay.
doesn't interact with so he doesn't interact. So sometimes you want to interact. Hey, no. It took him, I think, 2 years for him to actually could hug me.
Wow. Mm.
So it's difficult, And sometimes it's painful because you find people who have kids who, you know, when you come from work and you have a child, the child automatically embraces so
Yeah.
then we were yearning that touch, you know, like and then see, he doesn't hug because he's not a social person, you know. So you just have to wait, and he could decide out of nowhere and decides to hug you, and that means whatever you are doing, you have to let go and enjoy that moment, because might take you another 3 months before you get that moment again, you know. And so yeah, it was a lot of challenges, but I think you know, the internet and being, you know, being open to social things, you know, you get to learn about a few people, you know. I'm into, I don't know how many support groups I'm in, and I know I'm like the only guy in a lot of these support groups of mothers.
Wow.
So so I look at their kids. So these mothers, what they do, they always take videos of their kids so that we learn from them. So you're like, oh, okay, is that why he does this? Or is that why he does this? You know, sometimes they throw tantrums. He could throw a tantrum for an hour. There's nothing that you can do. So you just have to let him space, and after that he comes. But one thing that he loves is the phone. You know, always phone or no. He could be on the phone the whole day. And you know, so he still struggles with his speech. He doesn't talk much, you know. And you know, right, like 9-year-olds right now speak fluent, you know, and so he doesn't speak, which I think at times maybe used to stress us, because you want to have a conversation with your child and then you can't, you know. But once in a while he would say something, he would like a whole sentence, and you're like, oh, but you can speak, you know. And then sometimes they don't, you know. So they do things when they want to, you know. And but you know, the unfortunate part about autistic kids is that they're very expensive, you know. and 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 I think, you know, so I think, you know, we while we're doing these things, we need to have government interaction, because then they need to, you know, in schools have schools for autism, you know. Because I mean, right now my son has to go to occupational therapy, has to go to speech therapy. Those people are expensive, you know. On simple, you know, one occupational therapy who's cheap is charging 3.5 a month. Speech therapy is the same. So you are looking at, besides school fees, you are looking at another 7,000 that you have to fork out, so that at least that your kid can, you know. Yes. He just started kinetics right now, where they teaching him, because he was struggling to hold a pen.
Okay.
Even like crayons, he wasn't coloring, because he struggles with his motor skills, you know. So obviously teaching him fine motor skills. He took 2 years to hold a pen, because he used to hold it like a knife. He used to hold it like a knife, you know. So only now, and you know, those are the things we look forward to, you know. Just, oh, I think it was a month ago when we saw him drawing something finally, and you know, and you were like, ah. So it's the small things that that make us happy, because it's they're not normal to us, you know. But we remain resolute and try to tap into his world, you know. And understand and try to understand him every time. He's gotten something new now when he wants something and you can't give it to him. He goes and talks to the tree. What is fate? Like, yeah, like if he wants something and I move, why and then you'd see him communicate with this tree. I don't know when, but he's talking. And when he comes back, he's okay. He's like, yeah, no. And so you look at these things and you're like, oh, okay. Because obviously I'm sure before you would have been like, you know, but what we don't know what's going on in his mind. So, we're like, okay, let us give him the space but already just learn, we learn visually. You look at all the things that you do and you trying to capture them so that later on be like, no, when he's like this, that's why he does this,
Yeah.
So it's been a great journey, it's been a great journey that has allowed us to break barriers, and think outside the box. We've also learned that last year that horses, the bear, they calm children with autism, so they could calm them. So he goes to he goes to horse riding. He goes to horse riding too. So you see, that's what I'm saying. It's expensive, and horse riding is expensive. So he's a very expensive child, So every time how na le tšhelete nyana ke bo ish kinda ish, But I think with the support of my family and everyone around me, it makes things easier, And with Facebook, Facebook has become my family, because I share a lot about him. And I remember there was this one girl who inboxed me, was like to me, you know what, ngwana hao ke ngwana rona kaofela, and every little
Sorry, I'm back. We are back. I had technical problem, so I was out for a moment. Mpho will come back. Hopefully he will come back and finish what he was saying. Okay. So as Mpho was saying, I believe that, I don't know about you, but I believe that parents who have kids with special needs have a special strength. They have a special ability, because as he narrates his journey, it has, wow, I don't know where will I be. I don't know how I was going to cope, but the way he is just telling us his journey and with his son. Hi, we are back.
Yeah, technology. Yes. Yeah.
You can finish up where you left.
yeah, so I was saying, I think I'd like to thank, I think everyone that knows me and knows about my situation, you know. I have friends, that, they call me, if someone is sitting there and they hear a conversation on some radio, they inbox me, hey man, Mpho, if they see something about autism, they tag me. And
Okay.
it's great because then at least I see that I'm reaching certain people,
Yes.
and for that we can go forward, because I think we need to create an awareness, and and have public interactions, because I still feel, a lot of people still don't understand, and
Yeah.
and it's not a situation that you could understand it firsthand, you know. I think you need to experience it. You at least need to see a child. I think it's one of those things that needs you visually to see, a
Yeah.
child in actually for you to understand, and I think we need to teach, uh, especially our parents, because then our
Mm.
parents are the people that support us. Um I had a very sad encounter with this girl that I'd met Komnati, and she
Yeah.
came up to me and she was like, no man, my friends were showing me your posts about autism. I also have a child who's autistic. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then she started crying, and I'm like, hey
Wow.
man, whoa,
What
what's
now?
going on?
Mm.
And then she was like, no, she can't accept her child, and which is the most painful thing when you
Painful.
think somebody. But I could understand at that point, because when you don't have a support structure,
It's
it becomes difficult when
mm,
you yourself don't know what's going on, and then you don't have people that
around
want to
you.
know with you, because like I said,
Mm.
most of us as Black people, anything that we do not know, anything that we don't know, it's a curse. So
Yeah.
we need to teach our parents that there are kids who have certain disorders that you grew up not knowing. They
Yes.
were
And they
there,
were always in the yeah.
they were there, but you just did not know of them.
Mm.
So abuti mamma ngole sa le re hola ntse re nana wa hlanya kapo o loiwe, who wasn't anasabu. This is it,
Mm.
so
Mm.
we really need to go back and say, no man, our parents need to be taught so that they could become our support structure, because ke bona bo
Yes.
nkgono le bo ntatemolo ba bana ba rona. So if
Mm.
they look at our children and be like, I olo, we're not gonna get anywhere. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
we need to bring them also, and try to educate. But I think we'll get there. It's about these platforms, and we should do more of these, and yeah, and get more fathers into it. And I think with single mothers, I know Hore, most of the time fathers are not into their kids' relationships, because
Mm.
they did the mothers wrong, so
Yeah.
their mothers don't, so I always say to my female friends, like, even if your baby daddy did you wrong, allow them the chance to be a father.
Mm.
It might have not
Yeah.
worked. It might have not worked with you, but it does not mean
Was
because he was a bad
mm.
he was a bad partner, he will be a bad father. Give him
Yeah.
the space to be one, and don't bring your past into the relationship, so that he can
Mm.
have a healthy relationship with their kids,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
so, which is always what I'm advocating. That's what I always tell people. That's why my my baby mama and I, we are close, you know,
Yes.
because everything that we had, we're like, you know what, look, it didn't work, right? Didn't work. It's not gonna take us anywhere.
We have, yeah.
Situation that's in front of us. Because clearly, you know, and it works. I mean, like I said, I mean, we have a 9-year-old, so we met 10 years ago. We were together for 3 years. It's been 6 years co-parenting, you know, and it's been great. And we realized that we understand each other more than we did then. So we're like, you know, it's a good thing. So let's just enjoy each other and make sure. But also, like I said, to mothers, give fathers the space to be fathers. Give them space to be fathers, you know, so that we could do more. You know what I mean? Because I think, especially boys, every boy also needs their father, you know, and you know, because my son learns through visuals. Most of the things he does them because he sees them, or he hears them a lot. Now, you know, kids go through potty training, right?
Yeah.
My son could not. Because obviously also having issues with hearing, and so all we needed to do, I needed to go to the bathroom with him
and show him how it's
I
done.
needed to do it practical. He needed to stand next to me and see me do it that. So I would go to the bathroom with him so he could see like, oh, this I can't just be outside, because then he would be outside on this anyway, you know. If he wants to do number 2, he will just take off his pants and just do it outside. So I had to do it, and he would see, because then he'll be with me, and it's like, okay, mutuna washlobola, and udula student say, so oh, so that act must be done here, you know. So, and from that day on, he was like, oh, okay, no. So then he stopped doing number 2 outside, you know, and so obviously started doing, because he was like, no man, who's right, you know, because he learns from what he sees, not from what you tell him, you know. That's why even today, he still doesn't call his mother mama, you know. And he calls me Mpho, because my sisters call me that. So obviously they learn through repetition. So he's here every time. He always hears, oh man, Motrona na utri Mpho. So obviously Mpho. So with his grandmother, he calls his grandmother mama, because mewa hai the auntie haba utwa mama. So oh, mama can only be this one, because this one belongs to mama. So and I'm like, he can never call me papa, because no one else calls me papa, unless if I have another child. And then when I have another child and they call me papa, it's like, oh no, you know that's a papa, so it should be a papa, this one. Wow, because they learn through what they see you do. So as boys, we as men, we need to be around them, so that they can understand how a man carries himself, so that they can be like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to portray myself as a male, you know. So that's why I'm saying that we need to, ladies need to give us space to be fathers. I know that I know, you know, I don't want to be like, no, nake sharp. I know how we are as men, you know, and we failed you guys a lot, you know. But but one thing is that, give us the space to actually, you know, do this right. So yeah, man, and I think we will get somewhere. Yes.
Wow. You know what, Ne? When I'm listening to you, I feel like parents who have kids that has special needs, Ne? You have special strength, you have special ability, you have special everything about you guys is special, because as you narrate your journey, it requires a lot of everything: money, emotional support, everything around you. Even the friends that you have, you can't just relate with anyone. You have to relate with specific people that will be able to make this journey either easy to walk in. So now, please tell us about Wena as a person, as a parent, as someone who was, as you said, Wena ubiyele ngwana while you were ready. How did this affect you, being in this situation, finding yourself in and out of hospitals, not knowing what's wrong with your son? And now you say that relationship ya hao le mme wa hae ended around 3 years after he was born, ne? Yes. So I also want to understand, how did his sickness affect the relationship, if it did affect it. Because I'm trying to also understand how having this challenge can affect our already existing relationships.
Yeah. No, I think it affected us in a way that one, we then suddenly became focused only on the child, not us as a relationship. Yes. So everything was always about the child, and then we ended up neglecting what we had, because we were so focused on what do we do, how do we juggle this thing, because at the time when we first started, we didn't know, and as a parent, you want to try everything. Everyone is like, hey, Mutsubi saying Matekwano, cannabis oil. So every day we are constantly looking at books, and so we neglected our relationship because we were so much focused on the child, on making sure that this child is okay, right? To a point. So obviously after a while, we then realized, look, the love is no longer there, and if we stay together, we might probably end up resenting each other, and it's not gonna be a beautiful thing, because now we have this child. So amicably we separated. It was a decision that we had a conversation like I'm having with you. We're in bed and we said, this is not working. I think it was after the grandmother had taken the child, because the child was with us. The grandmother had taken the child, and then we're like, but it's not working between us. So before anything else, we are good. Let us let's separate, and so we separated. But like I said, I think it took a whole 6 months of actual separation to say this has been. But then we still kept calling each other on. Even now we still do. But I think we then realized that the love that we had was no longer there, and then we shifted focus on the child. So then so that's what we did. So equip him with all the necessary tools in order to function in society. So it was difficult. I think it's still difficult for me. I think I'm still scared. I'm still scared of having another child.
I can understand, yeah.
Because I'm like, no. You know what I mean? It's I've gotten to understand this one, but it's still difficult because I still don't get to do all the things that I want to do with him, and then I have to be and I have to be okay with that, you know. And I have I have a nephew, you know, my sister's son, right? And we get along very well. I'm his uncle. We get along very well. We do. I do all the things that I wanted to do with my son with him, and it makes me feel guilty every time. So every time after I do that, I then call my son. I'm like, hey, you know, hey, because then I'm like, ish, how can I be having so much fun with this other kid, you know? And but I want to have it with, but I can't because the situation does not allow, you know. So I do what it changes things completely. But with my baby mama, she also had that type, but she's okay now. She just had a child. She just had a son. Her son is 8 months. Yes. I think maybe if you were looking at my Facebook that I posted her last week, the four of us were chilling together. You see, that's why I'm saying we get along so well that, you know, even with his new son, you know, we get along. That's my child's little brother for me, you know, and you know, and with also Ntatu Wanu, you know, one of the other things was when him and my baby mama got serious, he asked permission. And then I was like, you know, it's a good thing. And then it's a beautiful thing because you're like, okay, at least now, you know what? I think I'm dealing with somebody who's on my level of thinking. So I think we're not gonna have issues. You know what I mean? So he was like, no, you know. So I was like, since I'm with this person, eventually I need to meet one high again. So, but then he was like, no, that high babe must be okay with the situation, you know. And I was like, no, man, I'm okay as long as. So I was like to my baby mom, as long as you are okay, because you are the one who's with him, you know, if you are ready to. But I'm okay, you know, for the mere fact that he asked, you know what I mean, lets me know that, you know what I mean, it's a person that we can have conversations with. So now we both have kids by this wonderful woman. So that means growing up, I can come take my child and his child, you know, and then he can take my child and his child, and then they go. So it becomes, so it's the more the merrier, as long as we coexist and we understand each other, which is great. You know, it's you know, like, yeah, blended family, you know, just coming in together because blended families, you know, because look, my one primary objective is my son. I have no other responsibility in my life. You know, my only responsibility is him. He's the only person I've brought into my life. So everything around him, I must make sure that it's okay. You know what I mean? So all the, you know, so I must make sure I'm comfortable with everyone around him and build good relationships with everyone around him. Because it won't make sense for me. I don't like his soon to be stepfather. Because then if I don't like him and then he lives in his house, he's gonna mistreat my child, you know. So we have conversations so that he understands that my son is this way, treat him like this, and then we good. It's yeah,
and
man.
it's
yeah.
Yeah. You know, we can talk we can talk until I don't know when, but so far I think we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot about everything concerning parenting. And your journey is beautiful. This one calls for another interaction with you, tackling this on a different perspective now. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. You taught us a lot.
No.
You taught us a lot. We must
I'm happy.
Yes. So I believe that I will
I'm
have you.
open to anything. I'm open to anything.
Yes, I believe that I will have you again because, yep, yeah, I will have you again
Yeah.
next month for sure. That's for sure. I'm gonna have you again next month. So, in short, please close for us. Talk to someone who is going through challenges in their parenting in general, whether the child has special needs or is just parenting a normal child. Just talk to us and give us hope. Give us maybe tools on how do I stay
Yes.
sane when the situation does not allow me to. And just give us closing remarks. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Hey, saying that I'm still struggling too. But I think for me, the best thing for me is to share. I think I believe in sharing your experiences with people.
That's
It
beautiful.
allows you to know that you are not the only one going through that experience. Because when we
Yes,
share, we allow other people to share with us. Then
yes,
from those encounters, it's those encounters that tse tla o fodisa ha e bona le mateng hobane o tla bo bona hore no man ha se nna fela, because most of the time ha re dutse re le bang e be ntse le bo why me kanti
yes.
you are not me alone, you know what I mean? Ba teng batho, but share. People must share. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. One mistake I think about people that they don't allow themselves to be vulnerable around people.
Yeah.
You always want to be like, I'm a man, I'm strong. No, I'm a very emotional person. I cry when needs to cry. Because I
Yes.
believe when you let it all out, like you pick yourself up and then you
Okay.
continue on your journey. So just share, open up to people, share, and then they will share back, and then you have support structure. Find a support structure. It's always important to have people around you that you think can be there for you at any given moment. I have people that I talk to, and we just talk. I bounce things, and they be like, no man, Mamang Lena was going through this, and we like that Jena ya mothusa. So but hari kwalla, ra ipipetsa, which can have a very difficult effect on us. I suffer from anxiety disorder,
Okay.
but I'm managing it because I talk more. I talk more about it, for
Yeah.
when my mother passed away, ne ke kwalletse ntho hore o
Oh.
hlokahetse. So I didn't feel. So up until last year, I had a breakdown.
Wow.
I cried.
Mm.
I was a mess. And then I was saying to myself, you know what? I need to open up more. This whole thing when I thought I was the oldest at home, I need to protect my sisters. I also need to protect me, So talk is the only thing that gets me by, just talk. Sometimes,
Oh.
you don't need people to even say something. You just need people to listen, motho ha o mamele fela, o ntshe taba tsa hao, o ntshe. Ha qeta o sharp, oh yes, So but people should talk. Ba ske ba ikwalla. Yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, you spoke a lot, and we learned. And refodile, some of us vele, we tend to say parenting will show you flames. Parenting is not easy. Yes, it's not, but it's doable. That's one of the things I've learned today. Regardless of what kind or what criteria of parenting do you fall under, that it's doable. And for all of us, as different as we are and as differently able as we are, we have what it takes to go through the things that we face in life and to survive and still stand and still have a life. There's something that you said, Hore, o rata monate, meaning that as much as you are a father to someone who needs you 100%, you still remember that I'm a person who has a purpose, who has a life of his own. Therefore, I need to attend to me so that I'll be able to come back home full to give to my son. And that's just beautiful.
Yes.
So we will talk again. Thank you for today. May God
Yes, ma'am.
bless you. May he continue to strengthen you and your family, and may he give all of you your heart's desires, and may he give you and bless you with all beautiful relationships so that the boy will have the best life experience ever. So until we talk again, may you stay blessed and kiss and hug that boy. The day he decides to come and embrace you, please give him my hugs also. Thank you. We will see you next time. Bye bye.
No, ke lebohile mme wa ka. Yo, lesedi wena mme.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that was powerful. Our conversations, Labuti Mpho, and he can talk, and I'm ready to listen to him anytime. And as we carry on with the conversation, I learned a lot, and I learned that there's a lot that we can learn from him. And I am just thankful that from a man's perspective, we learned, and I believe that ladies, we will do better as far as our baby daddies are concerned. And also, I believe that Liluna Bondate daddies, you will do better as far as your children and the relationship with their mothers is concerned. And let's remember all the time that the most important person in the relationship, it's the child, not really what happened between us or whatever. And also about children with special needs, I think we need to have a lot of meetings where we learn, where we talk about things, where we engage, and where we try to find out for now what is it that we don't know, so that we get to understand and relate to them better. We meet people who have special needs everywhere, every day, and what comes to mind firstly, I know it's judgment. You just don't understand why they are like that, and there's a certain attitude that you have towards them. And I think we can do better. We need to learn, we need to study, we need to expose ourselves more to the other world or the other things that we don't know, but that we really are affected by every day. We are meeting next week. We are going, the whole of June, I'm talking to men, I'm talking to fathers, because it's very important. It's very important. Next week, I'm talking to Abuti Tato. So we will get to know him better during the week and next week, Friday. See you at 6 p.m. on Friday. And thank you for watching. Thank you. May God bless all of you. May he guide you, and may he give you your heart's desires. God bless you and good night.